Yeah, you ready?
So welcome everybody to the February 13th architecture meeting. Um, Couple things. Sasha, did you have a chance to try those permissions on your Jenkins plugin that we figured out or we found last time?
I did actually.
Any
Let
success or?
me just go there. I'm in my Jenkins now. Mm, I definitely got a different. I definitely got a different response. So I think something was happening, but I think I still needed to tweak some more stuff.
Okay.
Uh, Let me just check here quickly. I'm just going into my. I mean, you can carry on. I'll just quickly
Yeah.
look here and I'll let you know.
Yeah. The other thing uh, was Tracy reached out to um, Mark on the Jenkins side about some help on this, and I don't know if you guys saw, but he responded back uh, saying he can loop in a UI person for from the Jenkins side to figure out where we should best put the stuff. Um, I don't quite think he understands what we're trying to get at um, because he was talking about moving it to a different location for some reason because in his mind it didn't make sense for it to be at the job level uh, because the data would be dynamically updated, which is kind of the point that we're trying to get to is um, if you run, here's a scenario that we want to capture is you run your build. You create your Docker image, for example. We capture that information about that version of the Docker image, um, and we cross-reference that with the OSV dev to say, oh, as of today, you're good. You have no security issues. You have no CVEs. But a week later, a new CVE gets reported against that container. Um, Instead of rerunning your build to check to see if it has redo the scan and redo everything, that you should be able to go back to your log and pull up the that workflow and show oh, now I have a CVE that I have to address. Um, so that's kind of the the thought process that I had for bringing in the live data into the log as part of the job. Now, that's just kind of setting aside the whole notification process. That's a whole different topic. But that's what my thought was initially. Is that what you were thinking of as well, Tracy, on kind of the flow, or or am I totally off track?
Yeah, I believe that's the case. Now, the other way we could do it would be to ask for a completely different, like create our own interface whereby I don't know how the plugins work, but if we could, instead of updating existing workflows, just say new vulnerabilities and this is the workflow it's in.
Yeah, that would be the other way. Is you can write a plugin that would be off of the Jenkins main page uh,
Yes.
that you could give a list um, of everything that has all the workflows that have a CVE, uh, and then be able to drill into it. That's a much more complicated. Um, we're basically writing a full plugin versus using the existing HTML plugin that we that Sasha found. But I don't know if you heard, but I don't know if you saw, Tracy, that Mark replied back that he's willing to hook us up with a Jenkins UI person.
Yeah, I saw that. I just didn't want to answer for anybody. So
Yeah, I didn't either,
okay.
so that's why I wanted to bring it up and kind of discuss our next steps on that.
I'm thinking that yes, we should bring the other Jenkins person in. I hope it's not kind of gone dead. I doubt it, but we should bring the Jenkins person in and get some feedback and find out how he thinks it should look. Because if we take the extra time to build an Ortelius page inside of Jenkins that says, here's all your workflows, you have 6 new CVEs, and we can provide a link. That's a better, I think that's a better way for the end user to see it.
Right, but the thing I'm worried about is we've kind of run into this before with Ortelius, and um, you get let's say you've run 50 workflows, and that CVE has been in there for 50 times, and then you're finally getting around to fixing it. That when you go to that, like the summary or the list page, that the old ones would keep on popping up. So I don't know
Well,
how
I
we.
would say that we would only show the latest, just like we're doing on Ortelius now.
Mm, okay,
So the last version of the run of the workflow.
right, that could work.
And if we're linking back to Ortelius, they can see all the previous versions already.
Right.
So that's how I would see it.
Yeah. So I think we should circle back around with Mark and bring in their UI person, and we'll go from there.
Would you
I
reach
can
out,
show you.
Steve?
I'll have to find the email, but I'll reach out.
Okay.
I can show you quickly
Yep.
if
Which
you want to see the okay where we're at. It's security again, but it's also a bit of networking and it's a bit of functionality in Jenkins.
Okay,
Oh,
I'm going to
someone
stop
else is.
sharing.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Thanks,
I'm going to
Tracy.
send an email right now to Mark and let him know we are going to take him up on it.
okay.
Wow, it's even getting more advanced these days just to share your screen. I've got so many options. What do I choose here? See, hold on. Oh, there we go.
I always choose everything.
Exactly. It's like crazy, man. I don't know what screen I'm sharing. Oh, I'm sharing the wrong screen.
We
Sorry,
yeah.
I'm sharing the wrong screen. Oh, now Mac is complaining about security. So hold on. Okay, let me just do this again.
Yep. Now we're seeing a
Okay.
browser.
Okay, so let me go to Jenkins. Okay, so the weather test does this, right? It says it's a security risk, and in the what is the word again? The web tools. You can see here it says content security policy, right?
Right.
Being violated. Okay, but let's go to Jenkins just to get a bit more clarity. This. So if I go back to the dashboard, and I go to manage Jenkins. Jenkins. Oh, so you just got to give the pies a little time. Oh wow, got a million plugins to update. Okay, but never mind. So you can go to system.
Right.
Slide. And then if I scroll down a bit, so there was this whole thing about a resource root URL, save resources file from another domain, right? So you can provide resources. And there's a whole long write-up about how to go around security policy here. And this is what I was trying to do. So this is where I got to. And because I'm trying to come in through my Kubernetes cluster and I'm using Trafic, I have to create an ingress route, which looks like this.
I think all you have to do is whitelist the ads that. Basically, what you need to do is whitelist the weather site
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
as
Um,
a site that you're going to allow Jenkins to talk to cross site.
so what I need to change? So, see, this is what I'm not too sure. Like I was trying different things. So like I use my own DNS. My internal DNS is managed by this. So I add all my alias, all my internal DNS is controlled by NextDNS. So I added resources like this, right? 151 is my um, traffic proxy, right? So you can see everything's 151.
Right.
Just ignore the other ones. 151, 151. Everything talks to 151 because that's the only point of entry into my cluster, right? And how you do that is by creating what they call an ingress route. So Jenkins also has an option to create another ingress. You can have two ingresses for Jenkins. And I was thinking, okay, should I try something like that? Like a different path for resources, right? But I don't know what that path was. But maybe this is a bit too complicated, which it sounds like it is. And then traffic, this one. So here's an ingress route, right? So you tell it the entry point, you tell it what to match on host or whatever you want to do, which service to look at, and the port. So this allows you to set cluster IPs within your Kubernetes cluster. You don't have to expose any services, and the traffic comes in, and then traffic knows what to do because it auto creates the correlation right between the incoming traffic and the service inside Kubernetes. And does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think it's going to be more at the um, there's going to be a definition somewhere about the site that you get to go to. Um,
Yeah. So maybe I
and
don't need this. I mean, I'm not sure.
yeah, and I think it's going to be um, let's see. Let me just find that.
If I just once I go back to my Jenkins, so I
Go
was
back to your HTML that you're for the weather.
oh okay. Um, okay, so back to the Jenkins job. Maybe I'll just duplicate this page, then I don't have to keep, and it makes it less painful for people to wait for the loading. Sorry. Jenkins demo app. Name. Okay, so there's the weather report,
Right. So click on that,
and it does that.
and so let's see.
Oh, there, weather underscore 20 reports, right?
No, that's just your the job. So do you go to your repo that has the HTML just go to Visual Studio.
Oh, yeah, sure. And just go up here to this Jenkins demo app, Jenkins file.
I think it's me Jenkins test.html. Yep. So see that URL.
Ah, this one.
That guy has to be whitelisted, that domain.
That makes sense.
So basically what's happening is you have a cross script that cross domain script that Jenkins is blocking. So because we are making a call outside of our domain to the WTTR.in,
Hmm.
Jenkins is blocking it. So what we need to do is tell Jenkins it's okay to go talk to the WTTR.in website.
So I should probably put this in the systems in the resource URL. Is that right?
We can try that.
Okay. You see my cat. Okay, yeah. So replace this with this,
Take off the South Africa. So after, yeah,
just like that.
yeah. Save that and give it a run.
Error code when checking the instance identity at that error 404 not found. Does that matter? Can I still save it? Steam.
And that may not quite be the right.
Ah, there we go.
So it says that page isn't found.
So I tried in the browser.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a front-end master. Oh, no, that's working.
Yeah. So I'll try to hunt down some more doc on what we need to do on that front. But I think we're on the right track. We just don't quite
Mm,
have the 100% the configuration, and all this
okay.
may change slightly when we talk to the Jenkins UI person.
Okay. Okay, so that's cool. This is where I got to. Yeah,
Okay,
just getting
cool.
blocked at that level. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Now at least everyone knows.
Yeah.
Cool. Shall I stop sharing?
So just real quick, just
Mm.
put WTTR in and take off the HTTPS.
So like just like this,
Just a domain. Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, hit apply now and see if it'll complain. Not a valid URL. Okay, just curious.
Oh, yeah, you might, yeah, that's good.
Right, gentlemen,
Yeah.
we got a couple of new folks that
Yep.
came in today.
Okay. Let me
Um,
stop
I'm,
sharing.
I'm gonna introduce one at a time, and one of them is probably gonna have, hopefully, we'll have a much longer conversation. But Manoj, thank you for coming today. I
Hi.
recently, I recently spoke to Manoj I reached out to him on LinkedIn, as I have most of you. He has a software engineering and some background in QA as well. So I reached out and said, "Hey, would you be interested in being part of this crazy open source project we're working on?" He's got a good background. He's got a background in cloud, a little bit of AI. So Manoj, why don't you just introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Tracy, for introducing. Hi, team. It's Manoj here. I have around 15 plus year of experience in QA and building automation, hands-on with Jenkins, a little bit on the Kubernetes, Terraform, and a little bit on the AI/ML. So I'm looking forward to contribute to this project. This is my first day, so pardon me, I was not prepared for the video call. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here. I'm so glad that you showed up. In open source projects, 80% of it is showing up. And then you're like, oh, I could probably do that. And then you can pick up on something. So that's kind of how it works. If you feel something that you're compelled to do, then you do it, right? So the
Yep.
showing up is finding out what is out there that needs to be done and how you can help. And then Abhishek, we had a meeting. I had a meeting with him, and I think you were on this call for a moment last time, right?
No, I think this is the first time I'm joining.
Okay, all right. So it's just you and I had a call. Please
Yeah,
introduce
yeah, yeah.
yourself. Tell us what you are up to with your company and your open source project. Steve has looked into your project a little bit. I was pretty excited about what you're doing, and I thought it would be good for us to integrate, giving you a dashboard and giving us more data to play with.
Yep, yep. Hey everyone, my name is Abhishek Datta. I'm based out of Bangalore, India. I am the creator and maintainer of a open source tool called VET. I mean, it started with the goal of building a policy as code-based SCA tool, software composition analysis tool. But over time, it grown into much more complex with a bunch of features based on user feedback and feature requests. And over time, I also left my job. I mean, previously I was working as I was leading a platform engineering team in one of the companies responsible for the platform side of things as well as a bit of security. I left my job and started doing this full time. I have a company called SafeDev, and we just got backed by one of the investors with a small pre-seed round. And our focus is to continue VET as the open source project while we build, SaaS control plane for that, which will, allow people to roll out VET at scale while having centralized policy management and those kind of things. Our focus with VET is more on the code analysis side of things. You will see that for a typical SCA project, we do not support container scanning, and we do not yet have container scanning on our roadmap. Yeah, because we are focusing more on the code side of things. Recently, we extracted some of the code analysis bit from VET into an independent open source repository called Code, which basically provides the underlying primitives for parsing a set of source files, building some plugins on top of it. So one of the features we recently integrated with VET was what we call the dependency usage evidence. Like apart from discovering dependencies by scanning package manifest files, we also correlate it with usage in code and specifically call out, packages or dependencies which are not used in code. So with the goal of eliminating noise or prioritization side of things. We do have other more advanced code analysis items like reachability analysis or malicious code analysis as part of our roadmap. And yeah, that's where the project is kind of heading. I did look into Ortelius, but I unfortunately I haven't got the time to look closer on the documentation side of things. One of the things that me and Tracy discussed, and I also want to explore further, is how to build an integration with VET and Ortelius on the dashboarding side of things, so that we can export the data and the visualization, and all of this is taken care of in your dashboard itself. So maybe VET acts as another tool which acts as a scanner which collects code and other third-party dependency related information and send it to Ortelius.
Sounds good. So I would say the next time that we get together in a week or two, that if you can just give us a demo, a quick, short little demo of what output that your tool produces, so we can then discuss where it would go inside of the Ortelius UI.
Sounds good.
Everybody,
Sounds good.
I put safedev.io in the chat so the team can take a look at it, and I'll put it in the notes as well.
But that would be great for us to understand in detail what data that you're able to grab from the different parts of the pipeline and the different languages, and we can then figure out where we would put it inside of Ortelius.
Sounds good. Sounds
and
good.
how hard
So-
it might be, that's the other thing. So because we're both strapped for time, so that if it's a heavy lift, we should maybe address it at a later date. But if it's not that heavy of a lift and it's something we think that this team could pull together, we could decide that at that point.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Well, welcome. Excited to have you.
Thank you so much.
Anybody else that's new?
I don't think so. I think that we have covered it.
We have those AI bots. They're very quiet again, so
I did speak to another group called Safe Desk. Wait, no, SecDesk, SEC. I'll bring that up just now and put it in the chat. So this is more, they're more of a consulting company than they are a product company. So I talked to them, where's the freaking, oh, there it is. So I talked to them about enhancing, they do try to do some vulnerability scanning, but they are really, I think that, I think they're more of a consultant in a box than they are a product. So they use open source tools and they help people set these things up. So I did reach out to them and I'm hoping to get, and I had a initial call with them. So I'm hoping that we can get them in a future meeting as well to talk about how Ortelius's data, they could then start exploiting the Ortelius data. So, anything coming out of let's say, SafeDep, they may be using that in place of the tooling that they're using now. So I'm trying to create sort of a coalition around this effort to pull data together from some of these more interesting tools. And the good thing about them is that they have consultants that they want to use to implement open source tooling to help teams build out a better secure workflow. There was a question out there for Abhishek.
Yeah, hi. So quick question. Where are you, how are you, I was just looking at your code and I looked at it before where it says you're pulling in, how are you discovering the vulnerabilities? Like, where are you pulling that data from? How are you scoring your vulnerabilities, everything like that?
Yeah. So we mostly rely on public data sources. Like for vulnerabilities, we rely on the OSV data source, the open source vulnerability database maintained by Google. I think Google along with GitHub. So that is our primary vulnerability data source at this point. Apart from that, we also leverage deps.dev for some of the open source package insights data, OpenSSF scorecard for some of the scoring data. So what we do is that we have a ETL which is running on a daily basis, which pulls all this data into a common database, and we have a API on top of that, because WET requires an aggregated view of all this data. WET does not want to call individual APIs to say OSD, devs.dev, or scorecard. That slows down the overall process significantly. So we do a bunch of caching. We have an aggregated view of the data, and we do some caching so that WET can call our API to have an aggregated view of this public data. Does that answer your question?
Well, so when you're saying it says filter vulns critical size, I'm sure you're familiar with policy as code, and vulns high size, is that all from the one source, the open, the Google source?
OSV, yeah. We do not have multiple vulnerability database source at this point. We only rely on OSV as the vulnerability database.
Yeah, that's the same one we use, OSV Dev.
There's a surprising, when I started looking at SafeDep, I was really surprised about how many similar things that we're doing. That's why I was pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
We have there's a lot of similarities.
I think OSV and deps.dev, right? These two projects from Google provides all the necessary data in a machine readable format required to build SCA tools, or in general, have the necessary data for open source package writing, which is why I think you will see that a lot of tools have started to use these data sources. Because the previous generation of tools, like if you look at Snake and other commercial products, they spent a lot of time and effort in building custom databases, custom vulnerability databases, or custom package insights databases. So I would say Google with these two projects probably commoditized SCA. So you can build a lot of use cases and don't have to worry about the data bit.
Okay, so Abhishek, I'm going to put you on the honey-do list to give us a date in one of these calls in the near future. You know, give you the floor for 30 minutes and let you really go over what we're doing. So people like Sasha and Steve and some of the other folks that have been on these calls for a while can give a good assessment of what it would take to do some integration.
Sounds good.
Just shoot me an email and let me know what day you want to do. I know you're busy as a startup. We get it. We're in the same boat. So I appreciate you being here and being interested.
Thank you so much.
And I think we covered it. Anything else we missed? Just a side note, we do have our, the outreach committee has built their job seekers webinar job series, and the first one's March 5th. I've been invited to go to DC to attend a open source policy summit, which I don't want to miss, and I'm flying back on the 5th. So I need somebody to be the gracious host of that. I think Steve can start the webinar. I just don't want our guests to be out there doing it all by himself. So I need somebody to just be the host and introduce the folks, and that's really all that is required. But I will be on a plane. I would rather do that, have somebody else host it than reschedule it. I hate rescheduling webinars. So if anybody is interested in stepping up, you'll do it, Kate?
Sure.
Yay, yay, Kate, thank you. And he did say, Jing has stepped up and said, hey, I'll be the first guinea pig to be a use case. He did tell me that if there's a second person who wants to, you know, have their LinkedIn profile dissected in front of everybody, that he will do, he has time to do 2 people, which probably means he looked at Jing's and hers was pretty good.
I
So if
don't
anybody
mind
else
being a
wants to
guinea
do,
pig. I don't mind being a
okay,
guinea pig. Crash
all right,
test dummy.
I will
I have a
connect
job
you
already,
then.
so thank goodness.
Yeah, exactly. But you know,
It's
what a
useful.
great opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I will, Sasha, I will introduce you to Darren, and Kate, I will also introduce you and let him know that you're going to be hosting the event.
Of course, unless somebody else wants the opportunity. I mean, maybe somebody else needs it more than me. Of course, because
Hey, I say
yeah,
the first person raise their hand gets the job.
There you
okay,
go.
cool.
You're in. You're in.
Okay, cool.
All right, all. Thank you so much. We will see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.